Hey, so I was just talking to Sean Fagan, he's the Muay Thai guy, and we were talking about mental training, and so we were exchanging a few resources, and I was recommending to him this podcast I've been listening to by Nii Shobo.
I'm Not You.
Well, his website is I'm Not You. It's sports motivation podcast. It's really, really good. So he went and listened to a bunch of those and got back to me and said that he's really enjoying them, which makes me really happy. But we were talking about difficulties with confidence, which I think that fighters and people who are just in the gym all feel. Like, I don't think you have to be at a high level or a low level to struggle with your confidence. It's something that comes with you everywhere you go. And you just need to get better at controlling it and kind of having a handle on it and being able to assess and be mindful of where you're at on it all the time. But it was really relevant to my own experiences because I fought last night, and it was not the girl I thought I was going to be fighting, and then she was really big. And I fight big fighters all the time, but when it's an unknown and she's like 9 kilos bigger than me and things like this, you kind of, in your preparation when I'm getting ready for the fight, I will have doubts, and I will kind of go through very familiar ground of the same doubts and the same fears and the same shit that I don't want to be thinking about, but I kind of habitually think about because I haven't done the work yet to clear that out, to build new roadways to not think that way anymore. But that's really good because that means that I get to work on how I want to reroute my thinking in that process. So a couple of years ago, my brother John sent me, he's a sports psychologist, he sent me this book called The Confidence Gap. And in the first few chapters, it's really good. This guy is talking about, the author is talking about how confidence is not a feeling first, it's an action first. And he uses the example of Nelson Mandela when he was in prison, and he would walk around the prison yard looking very confident, and the other prisoners who were looking to him as an example were like, how do you have so much confidence and you're so fearless all the time? And he's like, here's the secret, I'm not. I just walk like that and act that way because that's what's going to get us where we need to go, and that's kind of who wants to be huddling around in the prison yard trying to incite other people to feel good, right? So it was pretty profound for me to think about this idea that confidence is not a feeling first, because so many of us think that emotions are things that happen to us. We're very passive to them. And it's like, I'll wait until I feel confident and then I'll act confident. I'll wait until I feel better and then I'll be nice to my mom, stuff like that. You can't do that. And what's weird about it is it's only these really difficult emotions, or like, I'm not happy so I can't act happy kind of thing. You can fake shit all over the place. If you're not cold, you don't feel cold, and I tell you to act cold, I guarantee you 99.9% of you can do it pretty well. Because you know what that looks like. You know what being cold feels like, and so you can perform the actions of what it looks like when you feel cold. So last night I was listening to this, I call them books on tape because I'm old, but it's also a very old recording because he says turn cassette to side 2. So it's an MP3. It's just very old, but he's a sports psychologist as well. I have his name on Alan Goldberg, I think. I have him on my sports or mental training resources blog post, so y'all can go look at that. Anyway, he's talking about how similarly, you need to perform confidence. And he's saying you don't have to go around pulling a Muhammad Ali, saying I'm the greatest in the world and all of these things that actually I super love about Muhammad Ali. A lot of people don't want that for themselves. Like, they think that that's too much braggadocio, or it's uncomfortable, or they don't believe that about themselves, so they don't want to go around saying I'm the greatest in the world. But what Dr. Goldberg says, which is so great, is he's like, you don't have to convince everyone, you just have to convince you. And what's important about that is that actions come out of beliefs. Like, you won't act on something that you don't really believe. So if you don't believe you're the greatest in the world, acting like Muhammad Ali is going to be difficult for you. But there is some kernel in that you do believe, right? Like, you believe that you're good enough to fight, otherwise you wouldn't be going to training and getting in the ring. So you need to find that kernel of whatever that is your version of confidence. What do you look like when you're confident? What does it feel like when you're confident, and kind of build around that feeling and then act on it whether you feel it or not? What does it look like when you're cold, right? That kind of thing. What does it look like when you're sleepy, right? So you find these little kernels that are true to you, and then later on in that same section of the book I was listening to, he talks about the acorn becoming the mighty oak tree, right? So the mighty oak tree is this like supreme confident, like, holy shit, an oak tree is so incredible, right? You don't have to feel like an oak tree when you're still an acorn. That's fine. You just got to find that kernel that's real to you and water it and put it in good ground and work on it. So it's okay that last night I had doubt. It's okay that last night I had fear. It's okay that I'm not confident all the time. But I know what confidence feels like, and I know what confidence looks like, because I have been confident about things. I've been confident in fights, but I'm also really confident about things that have nothing to do with fighting. Like, if someone asked me, do you think that you could go talk to my brother because he doesn't feel good right now and maybe you can just make him feel a little better? I feel really confident that I could just go talk to somebody and make them feel better. Why am I confident in that? Because I believe that I'm able to do that. So find things that you believe you're able to do, put it in good ground, and water it. So that's what I did, and then knocked out my opponent in round 4. But sometimes it doesn't go that way, and that's fine. You know, you just keep working on it. So I think that this idea that you have to feel something before you can do it, or that you have to do away with negative emotions and, like, I'm never going to think these negative things again, that's not realistic for your life. You just have to water the correct seeds, right? Like, don't let the weeds grow. Put your confidence, put your little seeds, however small they are. An acorn is not an oak tree, man. That's okay. You put it in good ground, you water it, and just work on it. So that's my update from the road, and